Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Jan Moses back here with another edition of the Salary Cap Report. We finally made it to the home stretch here in Season 2 of NBA 2K25 My Team. The final weekend, our final weekend to play round 3 of Salary Cap. So if you're someone like me and you've only played 3 games in round 3 and you're trying to vie for that 2,500 point total that you need to get those final 2 Shattered Prize pieces to potentially, if you got the previous 4 Shatter Prize pieces, get your second and final 92 plus Hidden Gems card. You have your work cut out for you, just like I do. I'm going to have to play a good amount of salary cap this weekend to hit that 2,500 point total. And I'm not sure if I'm going to get that final Hidden Gems card by the end of this weekend, but if I can at least make some solid progress, maybe get towards the 2,000 point mark, by the end of the weekend, I'll be pretty happy. I'm probably not going to be able to play this game at all on Sunday, so I'm going to have to really make some serious progress today. I'm recording this on Friday the 21st or the 22nd, whatever it is, the 22nd, and then I'll be hopefully streaming this game on Saturday, November 23rd, sometime in the morning before King of the Court starts up. And hopefully we'll get some good games in. Maybe we'll get a couple of gameplay videos uploaded if we find ourselves in some pretty intense games that I think could be entertaining for you guys. Now, in this video today, I really want to highlight one player in particular. As always, though, whenever it comes to the salary cap report, I feel like the main thing I always try to tell you guys is every couple of days, take a look at your collection, take a look at your lineup. If there are any players that you have not been using because of their salaries have been too high, go back into your collection a few days later and take a look. Maybe they have dropped in value, and that is the exact situation that we are in today with the player I want to showcase, which is a player who's been sitting at 5,000 in terms of their salary value for the last couple of weeks or so, I believe, ever since the end of the Dia de los Muertos event, and that is none other than Jaime Jaquez Jr., who's seen his salary value cut in half down to 2,500, which is really, really interesting to me and makes him someone that I'm going to have to consider again because, you know, he's a player that I really enjoy using, particularly because of his jumper. His ratings are great. I know he's only 6'6", but he does play bigger than that. He gets rebounds, he gets stops on players that are taller than him, and his badges are pretty good. You see 4 Hall of Famers, including set shot specialists. I don't have to go through all the reasons why you should be running Jaime Jaquez Jr. other than just mentioning, again, 2,500 in salary. You know, right now, I really like the lineup that I have. It's sitting right at that 10,000 salary mark, and I really trust the 10 players that I would be bringing in. If I need to make a change up, if my players are tired at the point guard position, I have Keontae George as my 11th man, and if I'm really struggling against an off-baller who's giving Purvis Ellison all the space in the world to shoot it, and I'm not able to green his three-pointer, I could bring in Channing Frye to at least force my opponent to respect my center from the perimeter. But if I wanted to make changes, for an example, just to show you guys that, yes, you can still run, you know, if you have, you know, a point guard that you love who's 1,500 salary like Jalen Brunson, and you want to run someone who's at the highest end in terms of salary value at the amethyst tier, like a DeAndre Ayton, you can still make that work. You can still run those 2 players and bring in a guy like Jaime Jaquez Jr. at 2,500 salary by doing something like this. Like, for example, with my team, I love James Posey, and more than likely, I'm going to end up going back to the lineup like this lineup right here at the end of the video before I play my first salary cap game of the day. But I want to show you guys that you can make it work. It just requires a little bit of number crunching with the salaries. So I would replace James Posey, who again I really like, for Jaime Jaquez Jr. I would have to bench Eduardo Nahara because I can't have 4 players that are above 1,000 salary when 2 of them are over 2,000. It's not going to work out. So we're going to have to bench Eduardo Nahara and bring in someone who I want to actually find a place for in my lineup for salary cap, and that is, where is he at? Right here. Slow-mo Kyle Anderson. I've only gotten one of the deluxe packs from the Aura Agendas because I've just gotten on the game about like an hour or so ago. And Kyle Anderson, outside of that jumper being, you know, very, very slow, he seems like a really well-rounded card. He feels like more of a ruby, or even like a, you know, a 90 overall, like a low-tier amethyst with his ratings and his badges. 6'9", 87 offense, 91 defense, Hall of Fame physical finisher. Not the worst badge in the world to have on Hall of Fame, especially given the fact that A, he's a Sapphire, and B, I'm going to be running him at the power forward spot, and I'm going to be slashing with him probably a good amount. So getting him rolling to the basket with that badge activating will hopefully help us convert some of those tough layups just to help us score with Kyle Anderson, because his jumper, again, if you haven't gotten him yet, or if you have him, take him into shoot around before you take him into an online game. And I think that jumper alone may dissuade you from wanting to use him. But I think at the power forward spot, he'll be really good for me. He has some solid defensive badges, and he has gold rebound chaser. So we're going to give him a shot at the power forward potentially and see how he does for us. Now, if I were to go back to my old lineup that I showed you guys, what I may do is I may end up putting Kyle Anderson in place of Josh Childress, and then either run Marquise Daniels or Josh Childress as my shooting guard with Kyle Anderson as my backup 3. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing, at least in my next game. And then if I end up struggling, we'll just go to the lineup I'm about to show you guys right here. So Jaime Jaquez Jr. in place of James Posey, Kyle Anderson in place of Eduardo Nájera. And then in order to make this work, I think we're going to need to find gold reserves, like gold 11 through 13. So we're going to have to remove Keontae George, bring in Dan DeCow, and then we're going to have to bench Channing Frye for another center, probably like, Diop is really good, but I feel like Diop and Purvis Ellison are kind of redundant. Maybe I'll bench Purvis Ellison for Channing Frye, just get a little more shooting out there. And they are both 500 salary, so this would still work. And then I would have to bench one of Marquise Daniels or Josh Childress, or I'd have to, basically move Jarvis Hayes over and bring in another Emerald, which is what I'm going to do, because you guys know I absolutely love Jarvis Hayes. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to throw Omri Caspi here. I'm going to move him to the 4, and I would have to run a lineup like this, and just like that, we're back at that 10,000 salary value, and that gives us, I think, a really nasty big 3 for salary cap in Jalen Brunson, DeAndre Ayton, and Jaime Jaquez Jr. So again, I think if you can find a way to get him into your lineup, if you have him and you've not been using him because his salary has been at 5,000, I think his salary at 2,500 is a really nice value and a number that you can work with. So just wanted to point that out. There are some other players who have also, come down in salary. I'm not sure if Terry Porter was at 2,000 this whole time. I totally forgot if he was at 2,000 in the last salary cap report episode, but 2,000 is not bad. I just don't love Terry Porter's dribble animations, and I don't really dribble like that, but I can't do his step back. His step back gets 0 separation. It's genuinely terrible. Brandon Jennings, unfortunately, still 2,400 in salary, so we're not going to be bringing him in. I feel like the drop off from him to Jalen Brunson isn't that drastic to where I feel like I have to pay up for the 900 additional salary that I would need. And I don't know if there's anyone else of note that I want to bring up to you guys. Let me quickly take a look. I don't think so. I think when I looked at everyone before, everyone looks to be at around the same salary value. Yeah. So again, go ahead and take a look at some of those gems of the game cards that you guys may have. Maybe some of them dropped in value a little further. I think I mentioned in the last salary cap report episode that a lot of those gems of the game sapphires, like my beloved Craig Elo card, who's my defensive stopper, my point of attack defender. He's now at 500 salary, which again, that helps with all this lineup versatility, lineup flexibility. If he was still at 800, I couldn't make this lineup work. I couldn't make my old lineup work. So, just to take a look at your whole lineup, at your whole collection, and see what you could do with your lineup. Because again, if you're like me and you've only played a couple of games for round 3 and you are trying to get to that 2,500 point mark, you have your work cut out for you. So, it's time to get to work. I do have a couple of packs I want to open before we end this video. But before we do so, I did want to point out a couple of players who you might find interesting from this current set, the Aura set for salary cap. Again, we talked about Kyle Anderson. I think he's the guy that I'm most interested in running. But if I had to pick 2 other guys that I could see myself running, Tony Roten, only because he is a Sapphire 6'6" point guard who's going to probably be really solid at getting to the cup. You can see he has the gold lightning launch, gold posterizer, gold physical finisher, gold layup mix master, and gold strong handle. So this card is going to be great at attacking the basket and potentially, depending on who your opponent is running out there at the point guard position, he may be able to blow by them every single time and get layups. He's the kind of guy, though, where because his salary is at 800, which is the max a Sapphire player can get to, and he only comes with a 74 three-pointer and a 78 midi. I'm not necessarily excited about using him, but 88 speed on him is really not bad, again, for a 6'6 point guard. He's a really interesting option to me. Seth Curry could be interesting. I was going to mention him before, but his defense is so bad. I mean, a 62 defensive rating is terrible. 57 perimeter is just awful. And then 70 speed. I mean, my God, that card isn't even usable for breakout, let alone salary cap. The only other player that's kind of interesting to me is Davis Bertans, because he's an emerald, that you can run, I think at the 3 even, right? Yeah, 3 or 4, 6'10". 300 salary is amazing. 87 three-pointer. This card's going to be like a cheaper version of Steve Novak, but at least this Davis Bertans has 72 speed, so he's not going to totally kill you out there. I mean, I don't know how Davis Bertans is faster than Seth Curry, but, it is what it is. You can see he only has 2 badges, but they're both on gold, and they're Deadeye and Set Shot Specialist. So I think if you could have picked any 2 badges to give this card and have it be on gold, it would probably be these 2, because that gives you a player in Davis Bertans who's going to be pretty terrible in basically every aspect of the game, but he's going to be basically not just good, he's going to be very good at giving you the one thing that you're going to need from him, which is spot-up shooting. So, yeah, Kyle Anderson, if I had to rank them, I'd probably go Kyle Anderson, Davis Bertans, and then Tony Roten for players from this set that you may want to run in salary cap. It's really just, another week where we don't get players that are really all that interesting for salary cap, unfortunately. Another set where we have 2 rubies. One of them is a certified midget, and then the other one in Steven Adams is really not fast at all, can't shoot. So you're not going to really want to use either of these cards. Purvis Ellison runs laps around the Steven Adams card. And then Muggsy Bogues, 5'3", 1,200 salary as well. I mean, why wouldn't you just bring in, Mario Chalmers or Austin Rivers, who's 400 less salary and 3 times the height? Makes no sense to me. And once again, another set with no amethyst. That's fantastic. Thank you, 2K. All right, pack opening. We have this pack, and then we did complete the breakout challenges, I believe. So we should get our 90 plus overall premium pack right there, which is awesome. Let's go ahead and open up the 87 plus pack first that we got from logging in every single day this past week. As always, let me make sure that I'm recording. Hello, YouTube. All right, here we go. 87 plus overall premium pack. Let's see if we can get a Ruby card that might be able to help us out in salary cap potentially. Let's flip it and see who we get. We get Blue Edwards. I had no idea this card even came out, but we'll take a look at his ratings. Why not? Pretty badass name, Blue Edwards. Okay, 90 plus overall premium. I think the only player that I can say without a doubt I would love to see come out of this pack would be Gems of the Game, Anthony Davis. Mostly because that card is my kryptonite online in salary cap. He always causes me problems. Would love to see Anthony Davis out of this. Otherwise, I feel like anything else we get is just going to be total trash and totally useless, But hey, it is what it is. The agendas were pretty easy to get done for this. Western, 88 defensive rebound. It is the big Sun Center. Who is this? Okay, I think Mark West is pretty bad from what I remember. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's probably ass. I will take that over a center, over a point guard, because my point guards are basically set. Let's take a quick look at Mark West. 1,200 salary. I feel like he's not going to be able to shoot. I like the Hall of Famers, but I bet he has no three-pointer. Yeah, 37-3. That's going to rule him out for me. Although 82 speed, he's not bad. He's honestly not bad. We could have done much worse than Mark West, honestly. Do I wish this was Anthony Davis? Absolutely. But, this is a card where, if for whatever reason I want to move on from DeAndre Ayton, I can bring in a guy in Mark West who's only 1,200 in salary, and then I could probably put that 800 salary to use somewhere else in the lineup. And then last but not least, let's take a look at Blue Edwards and see what he's about. Blue Edwards. What was he, an 87 overall? Was he a shooting guard or was he a small forward? Did I pass by him already? No, he's right here. 87 overall, 800 in salary. 88 offense. He's only 6'4", which is horrifying. Badges aren't bad, but they're not necessarily amazing. 85-3, 87 speed. Not bad. I'm not gonna take him into shoot around right now, but at least that's something which is, at least he's an interesting option. Again, it's always nice to have options like that, but I'm pretty happy with the players that I have, whether I'm using this lineup or the other lineup that I showed you guys to start the video. We'll have to see how we end up doing, how we end up faring in salary cap. Again, I hope that I can record some gameplay videos for you guys in the coming days. I don't think I'm going to stream today, but I'm going to try to stream tomorrow morning if I can, as I think I mentioned earlier in this video, before King of the Court starts. And hopefully we'll be able to get to that 2,000 point mark at minimum, if not 2,500 by the end of the weekend. And then we'll have to see what's with the what salary cap, what the super packs bring for us next week. So yeah, appreciate you guys. Best of luck in your salary cap grinds this weekend. And until next time, I'll see you later.